is a wonderful family. You know why I'm saying this? You can never be under pressure. Say, what will I use to feed them? Wherever you find yourself at the time, you look around, there must be something to pick up to go and give your animal grass cutter to eat at home. That is the beauty about their feeding.
Mr. Hezekiah and his wife are both into grass cutting farming and testify that the business is viable and profitable.
6 female can pay graduate a year. Why am I saying this? 1 female give birth to us in a year. 1 female give birth to us in a year. Like the one you stamp right by you is gave birth to 5. 4 female, 1 male. And the combination of the female of the colony, we call it colony, is 5. 2 male, 3 female to start with. Now only this one has given you a colony. Do you know how much we sell colony now? It's 150,000. And it's not something that you are struggling to sell.
I decided to join my husband in farming. And since then, the farming work has been a great benefit to the family. Even, let me say, it really gives food to the family. In terms of paying the children's school fees and do some other things in the family, when I look at what is coming out from the farm, I decided not to look for work anywhere. And even right now, if we were to be given any job, either government or private sectors, we cannot leave this one and go there, because what is coming in, I saw that what is coming in is even more than what they are paying me. Compared to, I think you heard about the colony, how much they are selling it, and there is not even enough that we can supply to people. So I decided to say, because in Nigeria sector, people, when you talk about farming, it's as if you are committing offense. So it's not everybody that can do it.
The grass cutter is high in demand across the country, and as such, marketing and sales is often not a challenge.
The area that's supposed to be a major market, like the hotel, eatery, all these restaurants, they need it. But the one we have now is not even enough for individual. So by the time you went out, even yesterday when we were in the animal day celebration, the man that is supplying snails, he came to me that social hotel want it. I said, I can't go and put myself under pressure there, because I'm working hard to expand so that I can meet up the demand, bringing up in many people so that we can do it. People can start ordering it like chicken. When, like in around this here now, imagine only me. How many can I produce? So grass cutter market now is, let me say, is a miracle that is still waiting for the manifestation. We are still waiting for guys to key in so that we can meet up the demand. How to sell grass cutter now is not a problem. The problem is how to meet the demand.
The World Animal Day 2022 is the maiden edition in Nigeria and has made an impact in the lives of animal farmers. For the Rabbit Breeders Association of Abuja, the World Animal Day provided an opportunity for them to showcase rabbit farming and to make recommendations for government. Let us hear from them in our next segment, Farmers Speak.
The way the company and the government can intervene for us is first and foremost to escalate what we are doing. So many people are not aware of rabbit farming. So we need the government machinery through what we are doing today, the NTA and any other media, to escalate what we are doing. We need the support of the government in the area of processing, building a processing plant, and in also building the processing plant for rabbit meat, rabbit skin, and rabbit fur. We also need the help of the government in expanding what we are doing. That is to say, to increase our capacity. But if we are going to feed the processing factory, we need to increase the number of rabbit meat that we can supply to them.
Animal husbandry is the way to go. To see to it that the ecosystem is preserved while ensuring the availability of animal for nutrition, job, and wealth creation. This is where we draw the curtain tonight on the program. Have a great weekend and bye for now.
Fasting, you are trying to be closer to God. You are trying to tell God that, yes, I am your child.
I was commanded to obey my master. They are a place that when you come with reverence.
You should tell the believing women that they should lower their gaze and guard their modesty.
Until when we meet next time, same station and same time, my name is still Imam Fuad Adeyemi.
A day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet, and phone. Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTAI. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTA International on the go, anywhere in the world. NTA International, your window to the world.
Yes.
Latest entrant, latest technology. Welcome to Intel 4G LTE Advanced and experience super fast internet access today. Visit intel.com.ng or any of our stores in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt to get started. Intel. Live more.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, Go TV channel 91, Freeview channel 264, or live streaming via www.visiontv.co.uk. And to watch NTA International in the USA, Canada, and Mexico, use the following satellite parameters. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
What is it that you want to leave us with today?
Our reality with Sky, 10:30 a.m. every Monday, and it repeats at 12 midnight.
Let me use this opportunity to say thank you for your contributions to the transformation of our country.
44 individuals and organizations bag Excellence in Public Service Award.
I will be at the forefront of this campaign.
All Progressives Congress inaugurates Presidential Campaign Council and Party Manifesto. House of Representatives moves to immortalize former First Lady. Hello and welcome to the Network News on NTA. I'm Naja'atu Tijani. Reading with me tonight is Michael Olaleye from our Lagos studios. Don't forget to join us live on our website, nta.ng/live, and other social media platforms displayed on the screen. Now let's begin with the Excellence Awards, where 44 organizations and individuals who distinguished themselves in innovation and purposeful leadership have been recognized and rewarded for contributing immensely to the development of public service and the country. President Muhammadu Buhari, who presented the awards, commended the recipients for standing to be counted, for doing the right thing and leaving their footprints on the sands of time. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has all the details.
Amongst the recipients of the Nigeria Excellence Award in Public Service are former President Goodluck Jonathan for peace building, while that of Parliamentary Excellence went to Senate President Ahmed Lawan and Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila. Several governors from the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, serving and former ministers, security chiefs, heads of governmental and non-governmental organizations also received the awards in various categories. These include infrastructure delivery, innovation, as well as reforms impacting on critical sectors of the nation's economy. The event was put together by the Best Strategic Media in collaboration with the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation.
I would like to encourage all the recipients of this Excellence Award not to relent in their efforts towards contributing to the growth and development of the public service and the society at large, because growth and development should continually be our aspiration. In spite of differences in our political inclinations, we have a country that we must sustain, that we must protect.
President Muhammadu Buhari, who commended the organizers for deploying one of the best indices in determining the suitability or otherwise of individuals and organizations for the awards, said this will go a long way towards challenging public officers to live above board in discharging their responsibilities, knowing that they are being monitored.
This is to put on record that this award is born out of empirical evidence of performance and not politics. Let me use this opportunity to say thank you for your contributions to the transformation of our country. This award is a validation of your approach, but much more as a motivation for you and other upcoming leaders to continue doing more towards the attainment of a better Nigeria in all sectors of the economy.
The president is, however, worried that issues in corruption attributable to deeply rooted problems like nepotism, political patronage, as well as lack of transparency and accountability have continued to distract public office holders from delivering on their mandates and aspirations.
Public service is a public trust where officers and even employees must be accountable to the people whom they should serve at all times with utmost responsibility, integrity, loyalty, and efficiency. They are expected to act with patriotism and think out of the box in order to solve the many problems facing the people which they lead.
Former President Goodluck Jonathan responded on behalf of the award recipients.
We always say that those who more is given, more is expected from them. We have selected 44 of us, honor us on the live television, being watched all over the world. The only thing is that we promise that we'll continue to do more for humanity.
Dr. Jonathan, however, made a strong case for the review of the structure and functions of local governments in Nigeria, saying if they are working, at least the security challenges would have been minimized and 1 or 2 council chairmen would have been recognized and also rewarded. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, for his exemplary leadership in public service, President Muhammadu Buhari has conferred the Excellence in Public Service Award on the Executive Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Mohammed Nami. In a statement by the Special Assistant to the Executive Chairman, FIRS, Media and Communication, Oluwatobi Wojola, the award was presented to Mr. Nami by the President in recognition of his efforts at shoring up revenue for the country by introducing unprecedented modern, institutional and technological reforms which have seen the FIRS transformed. Within his 3 years in office, Mohammed Nami has transformed and repositioned the apex revenue body to ensure efficiency in revenue collection, leading to the collection of an unprecedented sum of 6.4 trillion naira by the FIRS in 2021, the highest ever collected by the service. Mr. Nami thanks the President for the opportunity to serve and dedicates the award to the board, management and staff of the FIRS, taxpayers, his family, friends and relatives, calling on Nigerians to continue to trust the government to deliver good governance while asking that all Nigerians honor their tax obligations to provide government the resources to build the nation of their dreams. And the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, says the President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration has executed high-impact projects across the country, and these projects have met the yearnings of the citizenry. Anthony Forson reports.
We have, over these years, highlighted these achievements via town hall meetings, press conferences. But as the administration winds down, we believe it's very important to consolidate our efforts at showcasing these achievements. Hence, we have designed a number of programs, including the series starting today.
Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed setting the records straight, and for the minister on whose shoulders rests the bulk of the nation's infrastructural development, Babatunde Raji Fashola, he started his scorecard this way.
A lot of debate has gone on about, oh, China is going to come and see this, China is going to take back our country. But I think we all should take time to find out how many Chinese loans are there even in Nigeria, how many? In the Ministry of Works and Housing, we have only two. We need to be careful to allege, for example, that billions were spent and the quality of the road is not good, and so on and so forth. What I know and what the engineers will tell you is that every road has a specified design life. That if you use it properly, the way it is designed to be used, it will last this number of years. Once that number of years is finished, that road will be rebuilt. And when we say we are rebuilding a road is built from the base, what is called the sub-base. We're talking of laterite. So you have to first remove everything, which is what is going on Abuja Canal, which is what is going on Lagos. You see excavation.
About Nigeria slipping into recession, the Works Minister was quick to remind Nigerians on how it all started.
The seed of recession had already been sown before we came. By the way this sector was handled. So at the top of that presentation, that newspaper, Thursday, 14th June 2012, 3 3 years before we came, Okonjo-Iweala warned Nigerians to prepare for economic recession. This is not person. She was doing her job. Recession was coming. So it did not matter who won the election in 2015. We are going to go into a recession. So when I heard people say, oh, there was a recession under Buhari, yes, it was foretold. The seeds for it were laid before Buhari became president. Inherited it. The question to ask, what did Buhari do to get out of recession?
This President Muhammadu Buhari's 2015-2023 scorecard series is designed to wind down the tenure of the administration. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Aviation Minister Hadi Sirika has appeared before the House Committee on Aviation, saying the proposed 5% share of the federal government in the Nigeria airline project is in line with the provisions of the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission. National Assembly correspondent Abdullahi Aminu has the details.
Flight delays and cancellations, high cost of the flight tickets and that of aviation fuel, as well as the 5% share in the new Nigerian air project were some of the issues that the minister explained.
We do know that most things that have to do with government as a business may not run very well. So the reason for the 5% is because we want the airline to have a sovereign shoulder to lean upon and also boost confidence of the investors that this is for real.
We have so many wealthy Nigerians. Let's market it to them. They'll be able to own this so that we can conserve our money for ourselves in the country.
Speaker, House of Representatives Femi Bajabiamila and other members sought more explanation.
It's an interactive section that involves very critical issues as it concerns our nation, as it concerns the industry.
We needed to adjourn till Monday to give you an opportunity to clarify some things. You and the CBN governor, those are the two players on that particular issue.
The proposed share of the federal government and Nigerians, as explained by the aviation minister, stands at 51% from the National Assembly. Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umar Zulum has presented a check of 100 million naira each to the leaders of the National Union of Road Transport Workers and the Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria as grants to support members and enhance activities of the unions. The governor made the presentation during a visit to the union office in Maiduguri. Mohammed Goni reports.
Checks were presented to the leadership of NURTW and RTN at a ceremony attended by members of the two unions, which the governor said was in fulfillment of a pledge made to the two bodies of a grant meant to support members and enhance activities of the union. The present administration, since assumption of office, has continued to support MSMEs in the state as part of efforts to resuscitate businesses and livelihood activities crippled by the 12 years of insurgency. Governor Bagana Umara directed that both NURTW and RTN should set aside 50 million naira to support their members, while the remaining 50 million naira should be used to run activities of the unions. The governor used the opportunity to thank the two bodies for their continued support to the state government in the transport sector and urged them to maintain the tempo, assuring them of continued partnership. He also enjoined them to participate actively in the ongoing political activities, but should shun all acts capable of sabotaging the fragile peace in the state. Leadership of both NURTW and RTN appreciated the governor's continued support to them, noting his commitment and courage to reconstruct and resettle displaced communities to restore the lost glory of Borno, and assured to support the present administration at all times. In Maiduguri, Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
Still on transportation, the Buhari Media Organization says the second Niger Bridge is no longer a mirage, but a reality. The media group describes the completion of the bridge as an affirmation of President Muhammadu Buhari's position that governance should not suffer, especially with the commencement of campaigns towards the 2023 general elections. BMO therefore urges subnationals to take a cue from the patriotic stance of President Buhari for continuity of governance. You're watching the network news at 9 on NTA. Let's take a break. The news will continue shortly.
Today, we say that the number of police officers, hypothetically, the ones we have, are not enough. And we want to expand the police force, for example, by 100,000 more police officers. We cannot fund it if we don't have enough taxes to expand the size of the police. It has always been said by some of that maybe we have few number of police officers per 1,000 Nigerians. Our ratio is low based on statistics globally. Now, if we want to increase by just 100,000, that will require at least an additional expenditure of about 200 billion naira a year. So it's very, very important that we pay our taxes, because that way we can ensure that we get the security that we all crave.
The Honourable Minister, Federal Minister of Women Affairs, Her Excellency Dame Pauline Talon, OFR, KSG, is pleased to invite all stakeholders, delegates, the general public and the media to the 22nd National Council on Women Affairs with the theme, Inclusivity and Women Economic Empowerment, Making the Change Work for Women and Children. Date, arrival, Sunday, 23rd October 2022. Technical session, Monday, 24th to Wednesday, 26th October 2022. Ministerial Stakeholders Engagement and Dinner, Wednesday, 26th October 2022. Ministerial Session, Thursday, 27th October 2022. Gala Night, Thursday, 27th October 2022. Venue, Main Auditorium of National Center for Women Development, NCWD, Abuja. Time, 8:30 a.m. daily. Ali Husheu Shinkafi, Permanent Secretary, Announcer.
Yes, you can. Just take your phone and press. In the village, in the city, anywhere where you do. It sounds in the Salakara. Any job where you get it, just know say yes, you can. Sorry, no,
Same Naira, more possibilities.
They say nothing good comes easy, but with determination and sheer focus, Boa Foods finds new ways to put food on many plates. We produce competitively priced sugar, flour, and pasta that are highly sought after by our corporate and trade partners. At Boa Foods, we remain committed to lead with purpose and make a difference by embracing the responsibility to meet Africa's growing food demand. We dare to lead, so can you. Boa Foods, nourishing lives.
Bringing that too. What's that? Do you even know how it was produced? Madam, we know things are hard. But it is our people that say health is wealth. Don't compromise on quality. Chidi! No, there's a reason why we are friends.
Use power oil. It is triple filtered. It contains omega-6 and omega-9. It's fortified with vitamin A. Plus, it comes in different packs and sizes, so you can afford it without breaking the bank.
My people know the importance of making the right choice.
Power oil.
The Nigerian Television Authority NTA, in collaboration with Havel Corporate Concept, presents Beyond the Debate, a series for all the 18 presidential candidates in the 2023 general elections to present their manifestos and visions to the Nigerian public as a social contract. Beyond the Debate will broadcast live on the network service of the NTA and stream on YouTube and other social media platforms beginning from 10th November 2022. The publicly signed manifestos by the candidates will be uploaded on this portal, www.summitofpoliticalparties.org. For further inquiries, please contact Dr. Badanga 08033173488, Hawaii 08033121022.
Thanks for staying tuned. We're talking ICT matters now. The federal government is engaging state governors on the gains of equitable broadband infrastructure across the country via the maiden edition of the Broadband Technical Awareness Forum, where the Communications and Digital Economy Minister, Professor Isa Ali Pantami, says it is to ensure that the federal government and states are on the same path as the nation pushes to implement the Nigerian National Broadband Plan 2020 to 2025. Chimdima Undubisi reports.
Like road, electricity and water, broadband is now considered a basic amenity because almost all socio-economic activities now depend on it.
Through the deployment of broadband infrastructure, we can also deliver health services for populations of the country.
An estimated 79.8% of Nigeria's population are connected to the internet. Broadband penetration is also at 44.68%.
When it comes to security, economic development, education, and other, broadband penetration or accessibility is no more luxury but rather a necessity. We know that our subnationals have a strong role to play.
At this interaction, issues on multiple, excessive, and right-of-way taxations came up as impediments to adequate broadband infrastructure deployment. As it is, fiber optic broadband networks cover less than 25% of the total fiber cables laid in the country.
We believe that there's so much we can gain when we work together as subnationals and the federal government, but there must be openness, there must be trust.
Partnership to deepen broadband infrastructure investment will equip citizens, the likes of 20-year-old Mohammed, for 35 to 45% jobs that will require digital skills in a short while. In Abuja, Chimdima Ndubisi, NTA News.
Now to election matters. President Muhammadu Buhari has promised to be at the forefront of the campaign towards getting Asiwaju Bola Tinubu elected as next president of Nigeria, stating that the future of Nigeria is safer in the hands of APC leadership. The president stated this while formally inaugurating the APC Presidential Campaign Council and unveiling the action plan of the party's presidential candidate for Nigeria. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
I will be at the forefront of this campaign.
President Muhammadu Buhari, who chairs the Presidential Campaign Council comprising zonal and state coordinators, advisors, patrons, and several directorates, said the cost of losing the gains Nigeria has made is much more than the need to stop what he called the hemorrhage that led to their coming together in 2014.
I want to charge every member to put in maximum efforts during the next 4.5 months of campaign to ensure we record a resounding victory in all our elections nationwide. The future of this country is safer in our hands. Our candidate, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, is too well known for his capacity and can do spirit. He stands tall in his track record as a democrat, a champion of the rule of law, a man at home in every part of our country and a truly visionary leader.
The president said the APC family members have every reason to be proud of the governing party's achievements in the last 7 years, despite the unfavorable circumstances of global economic downturns, COVID-19 pandemic, insecurity, as well as inherited systemic corruption.
Our commitment to stimulate our nation's economy through massive infrastructural development has not been misplaced. The real impact of our efforts will be felt more as the various projects are completed and put to use in the coming days. Our administration remains committed to progressively eliminate all flashpoints of insecurity nationwide. We would triumph over the enemies of our country in whatever form and shape they appear.
He, however, made a strong case for all APC members to at all times subscribe to the supremacy of the party and see themselves as ambassadors of its progressive principles. President Muhammadu Buhari, the presidential candidate, and his running mate, the party's national chairman, and other critical stakeholders formally unveiled the action plan of the Asiwaju Shetima ticket entitled Renewed Hope. The compendium clearly shows what needs to be done and how to get it done towards sustaining Nigeria's upward trajectory in critical sectors of the economy.
And we are saying today, the renewed hope of this country will be for real. This is a promise that you can depend on. The hope is back, renewed, back, and solid.
There is no doubt that Nigerians have found in the APC the Moses to lead them to the promised land.
For the national chairman of the party, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, APC, which remains the party to beat, will never be disappointing as the Buhari administration has laid a solid foundation for a sustainable future of the country.
Our party is united around a common cause, the cause of peace, unity, and national development.
I assure you that we will work assiduously to deliver on your mandate of seeing an APC to APC transition from President Muhammadu Buhari to President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
No date has yet been fixed for the launch of the APC presidential campaign. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
The Nigerian Election Debate Group and the Nigerian Economic Summit Group have opened a platform to actively engage 4 presidential candidates and their running mates ahead of the 2023 elections. In view of this, the groups have launched an opinion poll as a pre-selection model. Salihu Gwanara tells us more.
What do you think? These groups are interested in Nigeria's electioneering activities and promise to sustain their passion of identifying and promoting candidates who distinguished themselves during interrogation with the public. Participants, in this case the presidential candidates, are expected to share their insight on how Nigeria can sustainably grow its economy while addressing core issues of macroeconomic environment, fiscal and monetary policies, diversification and deregulation.
NESD has a record of all the things they've been doing on the economy and the economy of the country, but we still need something not only from Nigeria but also from the diaspora. People outside want to ask questions, and those questions will not be compiled when we go for the debate.
Reason was given while only 4 out of the 18 political parties are participating.
I can tell you today, some of them running for presidency that don't have an office in Abuja here.
The monthly engagement will commence in November 2022 in Abuja. Saliu Gonara, NTA News.
As preparations for the 2023 general elections gain momentum, the presidential candidate of the Young Progressives Party YPP, Malik Ado Ibrahim, has flagged off his campaign, which is hinged on resetting Nigeria based on patriotism, empathy, justice and unity. Some party faithful are optimistic that the Young Progressives Party
would start to build a coast guard that will know what's happening in the creeks, that will know what kind of boats and illegal activities happening in our coastline. It'll free our navy up to look for piracy and those that would want to come and do us harm. We will create jobs. We'll bring young people into the protection of this country.
Party faithful are optimistic that the Young Progressives Party, with Malik Ado Ibrahim as presidential candidate and Ina Kasarachi as vice presidential candidate, will set Nigeria on the path of progress and prosperity.
A man that can listen to you. We need a man who has empathy, who has feeling. This is a man that will listen. This is a man that will give young people voice.
This is a new beginning of resetting Nigeria through the instrumentality of the Young Progressives Party and through the vibrancy of our candidates.
He has the experience. And I tell you, he's going to move Nigeria from where it is to the next level.
The presidential candidate of the Young Progressives Party, Malik Ado Ibrahim, is an entrepreneur and the founder of Reset Nigeria initiative. And a much louder voice echoes, calling for women inclusiveness in the political sphere of the country, with high hopes that women will do better when given room for participation. The Nigerian Women Search for Good Governance say they will no longer sit on the edge.
If you want our support, if any president wants our support, you must be able to give women, what we want. That's just one side of it. The other side of it is women who are contesting election. As you know, the parties have refused, to implement this 35% to ensure that women who are contesting for election are up to 35%. So we want a government that will give at least more than that 35% in appointed positions, to women.
We want to say, no, enough is enough. We have the power in our hand, and our power is the vote. If you want our vote, you have to engage us.
Several issues were discussed with the presidential candidates for a progressive Nigeria to depict what they stand for. The House of Representatives is leaving no stone unturned to ensure that issues bordering on women inclusion and empowerment receive prompt attention from the legislature. Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila stated this in a message to the public hearing on a bill to amend the National Women Development Center Act to enhance its functions and rename it after former First Lady Mariam Babangida. National Assembly correspondent Vivian Idepefo reports.
The amendment bill also seeks to rename the center after the late Mariam Babangida, whom stakeholders describe as a gender parity champion.
On behalf of the Babangida family, I want to place on record on his behalf, as he told me, our commendation to this entire committee for deeming it necessary to recognize the effort of his wife, the late Mariam Babangida.
I'm a living testimony and a beneficiary of what late Mariam Babangida advocated for.
I'm a beneficiary of a mentorship.
Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila, in his message, tasked stakeholders to come up with recommendations that would help the center live up to its responsibilities.
We still have to protect the rights of women and girls, honor their dignity, and give them opportunities to rise to their highest potentials.
Somebody started it. We should work on it. We should not allow it to die. And since we have a development center, that we should also name it after her.
I would like to express my appreciation for the opportunity given to us and for your cooperation and support towards the development and empowerment of the Nigerian women.
We pray that by God's grace, all those who have labored for both men and women in this country, that their labors will not be in vain.
A report on the outcome of the public hearing would be laid before House plenary for consideration. From the National Assembly, Vivian Idepefo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has called for concerted efforts by all key players towards reducing the effects of disasters which cause humanitarian crisis. This was during his visit to Benue State to commiserate with flood victims as well as those displaced as a result of attacks by gunmen. Elias Itiav reports.
The visit of the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, is born out of the desire to have a first-hand experience of flooding in the state and to sympathize with victims of the disaster. To ensure an on-the-spot assessment of the damage done, the Labour Party presidential standard-bearer ferried around some of the flooded areas within Makurdi metropolis where he interfaced with the victims.
Let us go and see how we can have a sense of feeling, demonstrate, sympathize with those who are affected. And that's what we're doing here. I've been to the ID camp, and then I came here personally to meet people who have lost everything.
Secretary to the State Government, Anthony Ijoho, while appreciating what he described as an uncommon gesture, says the visit is a demonstration of his care for the needy and vulnerable persons in the society.
You went into the water, you went those who are affected. You are spoken to those who are affected by this war. It shows that you are someone who cares for others.
The presidential hopeful also made a cash donation to internally displaced persons' camps for their upkeep. In Makurdi, Elias Itiav, NTA News.
Still on emergency relief, the Northeast Development Commission is responding to the plight of flood victims in the region as the intervention agency has handed over food and non-food items to Yobe State Government for distribution to affected persons across the state. Yunusa Suleiman reports.
Like many states in the Federation, Yobe State this year had its unfair share of flood disaster. In discharging its mandate as a regional intervention agency, the Northeast Development Commission is not resting on its oars in the provision of succor to flood victims across the region with the donation of food and non-food items to Yobe State Government for onward distribution to deserving beneficiaries across the state to cushion their hardship.
On 18th of August, in Borno State, when the President presided over the World Humanitarian Day, we made a commitment to provide succor to the Northeast. And you have seen today, physically, you have seen we are giving Yobe State 10,000 bags of rice.
My expectation is that the things will go around and all the 11 local governments out of the 17 that have been affected by the floods will get the items that have been provided.
The Commission's management was also at the Government House on a courtesy visit where the Chairperson House Committee on NEDC, Khadija Bukarabo Ibrahim, and the Managing Director of the agency, Mohammed Goni Al-Ghali, both commended Yobe State Government for taking proactive measures against the disaster.
We are really appreciative for the palliatives we have brought in the state. So this intervention came at the right time.
The Managing Director of the NEDC was also at the site of the 250 housing units for IDPs in Damaturu to inspect the ongoing project, which has reached an appreciable level of completion, with similar project currently ongoing spread across 5 other local government areas of the state. In Damaturu, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
Let's now join Michael in Lagos for more reports. Over to you, Michael.
Thank you, Najatu. The West Africa Examinations Council WAEC continues to blaze the trail in actualizing its core mandate. To ensure prompt service delivery, the council broke new grounds technologically with the unveiling of the digital certificate confirmation system. Adiola Komiakiri reports.
This platform is created for the people that actually read the exam. It is important that they are coming with the information exactly as is, the way it was captured. So, ladies and gentlemen, here the WAEC certificate.
Education is the best legacy to bequeath one's child. How the child goes through the process the right way is what WAEC has continued to champion. thereby putting an end to the myriads of malpractices before, during, and after examinations. With the unveiling of a new electronic device to curb any clog in the Council's wheel of progress, candidates and institutions can now access, share, and confirm certificates and results from any part of the world by logging into the Council's website at www.waec.org to get started. Head Nigerian National Office of WAEC, Patrick Arega, was emphatic that with the benefits the platform offers, it cannot be hacked.
It has eliminated the issue of fraud. Because when you carry your fiscal certificate, some people alter them. You have seen cases of altered results. But in this case, nobody can alter anymore. You are in the University of Maiduguri, you want to go abroad. They are asking you to confirm your result. You first of all come to WAEC, you make an application. It will take time for WAEC to process it, and it will take time for the courier service to deliver it. But this one now, within 5 minutes, everything is done.
The digital platform, the Council says, is available to the over 30 million certificate holders who wrote the exams from 1999 to date to access and share original copies of their certificates, while those from 1970 to 1998 can access theirs from February 2023. WAEC also announced that subsequently, candidates will no longer have to wait for months before getting access to their certificate, as they will be available on the digital platform immediately after the results are released. In Lagos, Adeola Komiakere, NTA News.
Disasters are inevitable in life. However, when they are man-made, it leaves too many questions unanswered. Lagos has been in the news in recent times with one too many building collapse incidents. Seeking answers to the causes and measures to change the trend, Ruth Aria Samuel spoke with those on whose shoulders lied the responsibility of ensuring safe buildings.
The building collapse in Lagos State has assumed an alarming dimension, leaving residents with apprehension of where the next incident could occur. From Ikoyi to Mushin, residents have witnessed building collapse which always resulted to the loss of lives and property. Question on the lips of Lagosians whenever there's a building collapse is why?
Design could be faulty, it could be failure in foundation, it could be use of poor quality materials, poor workmanship.
Using people that are not licensed to build. So, and it's because they don't have a stake, so they can do whatever and go away with it.
Cutting corners, rushing to finish construction, overburdening foundations and pillars. What is the place of evaluation and monitoring?
We are concerned about their loss of investment that happens every time a building collapses. That's a loss to the national economy, and we will not want that to continue. Anybody who is putting up a structure should engage a competent and registered builder.
If federal government can control all these things so that in the market, if there is original materials all through, all these things can be occur again.
The need for quality control, experts say, should be of priority. Little wonder the federal government, since 1989, set up an association of building experts to checkmate this menace.
One of the first things they will do is to make sure that every site is being implemented. In other words, the practices, the building technology, the methodology, the processes on site are in accordance with the National Building Code.
With the new vigor professionals in the building industry are putting in place to rectify the dent to their profession while ensuring safety of buildings, it is hoped that building collapse will reduce and, if possible, averted totally. In Lagos, Ruth Ario Samuel, NTA News.
Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Time for some messages. The news continues shortly. Please stay.
This sound when you wake up one day and there's no country, only chaos, confusion, bloodshed. No. We must stand for our nation. We must all also stand for the armed forces. Our prayers, our validation of their efforts is what they need, which we must strive to give them as patriotic citizens. Together, we are stronger. One nation, one armed forces, one people, our Nigeria.
Where are you bringing that to?
What's that? Do you even know how it was produced?
Madam, we know things are hard. But it is our people that say health is wealth. Don't compromise on quality. JD! Oh, I know there's a reason why we are afraid.
Use power oil. It is triple filtered. It contains omega-6 and omega-9. It's fortified with vitamin A. Plus, it comes in different packs and sizes, so you can afford it without breaking the bank.
My people know the importance of making the right choice.
Power oil. The Zenith Better Life promo is back, and it's bigger and better. You could be one of 20 lucky customers to win 150,000 naira every 2 weeks from now till January 31st, 2023. To qualify, simply open a Zenith Bank account and maintain a minimum balance of 5,000 naira. For more information, visit www.zenithbank.com/betterlife. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
Kids, grown-ups, it doesn't matter. Have a cup of peak chocolate anytime and enjoy the delicious nourishment of chocolatey goodness. Peak. Reach for your peak.
The Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Muhammad, welcomes President and heads of government, the UNESCO Director General, Ms. Audrey Azoula, and other UN officials, foreign ministers, ambassadors, international dignitaries, and members of the Federal Executive Council to the UNESCO Global Media and Information Literacy Week 2022 with the theme Nurturing Trust, a Media and Information Literacy Imperative. Date 24th to 31st October 2022. Opening session 24th October 2022 at the Banquet Hall, Presidential Villa, Abuja. Time 3 p.m. The other sessions of the Global Media and Information Literacy Week 2022 will take place at the Transcorp Hilton Hotel. Special guest of honor, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari GCFR, President, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mrs. Lydia Shehu Jafia, MNI, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. Announcer.
The Nigerian electoral system is seemingly simple, yet may be complicated for some.
It's for them to come and tell us what they have.
Running an election is equivalent to what? A job application.
I want them to identify the issues plaguing the common Nigerians.
PDP should focus on PDP and APC should focus on APC.
Let's show you what an election is all about, as Nigerians pick the next president, governors, and legislators. We interrogate their plans, question the rationale, and review the prospects. Join us, the ballot.
Thanks for staying tuned. The Federal Road Safety Corps has been charged to improve on its education and sensitization of motorists, as well as impose more sanctions on violators, as many lack requisite road safety rules. The chairman, Nigeria Road Safety Partnership, Erabai Aihoji, said this during a visit to the headquarters of the Federal Road Safety Corps in Abuja. Oyemi Ajayi reports.
Statistics from the Federal Road Safety Corps reveals that nearly 5,000 people die yearly from road traffic crashes in Nigeria, culminating to 15 lives lost daily. Many attribute causes to ignorance of some motorists, to traffic signs and rules, as well as deviance of some. These, the Federal Road Safety Corps agrees, must be nipped in the bud to achieve 50% crash reduction.
Solution to road traffic crash can better be achieved through collaborative efforts involving public, private sector, non-governmental organizations, civil society organizations, and the media.
Road safety is everyone's business. It is not left to agencies alone, but to every single person to ensure that everybody goes back home safely at the end of the day.
The Nigerian Road Safety Partnership, conscious of safety for road users and the enormity of the task for the Corps, donated 250 reflective jackets to the FRSC for officers and men as part of its support. Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
And now for business news, where I hear there's a sweet policy involving sugar. Musa will give us the details.
Thank you, Naja. The Executive Secretary, National Sugar Development Council, Zak Adidiji, has hailed President Muhammadu Buhari for approving the Phase 2 plan for the implementation of the Nigeria Sugar Master Plan, an ambitious and well-thought-out policy for the sugar sector, saying the gesture will boost investors' confidence and also attract more investments to the industry. Adidiji made the assertion in Lafiagi, Kwara State, during a visit to assess the level of work so far, discussed the new modalities for reporting progress in line with the National Sugar Master Plan Phase 2 guidelines, and have more on the supremacy of the plan, which he described as the guiding principle of the sector.
A lot of challenges which they've identified. As you know, that Nigeria is part of the global system. So the delay that you see in some areas were explained based on the scarcity of forex, inflation, war in Ukraine, and many other external factors that actually impacted the way they would have loved to move.
With an initial 10-year mandate to revitalize the sector to enable Nigeria to attain self-sufficiency in sugar production, the National Master Plan was first launched in 2012 and began operation in 2013. Only recently, the Federal Executive Council approved the second phase of the plan to operate from 2023 to 2033, a development hailed by top industry players. And now to the capital market. The equities market closed Friday's trading session in positive territory. The all-share index climbed 0.15% at 44,396.73 basis points. A total turnover of 95.18 million units of securities valued at 1.8 billion naira were traded in 2,888 deals. Equity capitalization increased to 24.18 trillion naira. The financial services industry led the activity chart, with Fidelity Bank followed by Zenith Bank and Guarantee Trust Holding Company. And that's business news. Well, the news continues after the break.
The 35th National Festival of Arts and Culture, Ekona Fest 2022, with the theme Culture and Peaceful Coexistence, holds from Monday the 7th to Sunday 13th November 2022 at the National Stadium, National Institute for Sports, Lagos State. Time 10 a.m. daily. The official opening ceremony will take place on Wednesday 9th November 2022. Time 11 a.m. Venue Onikon Stadium, Lagos State. Ekona Fest 2022, promoting culture and peaceful coexistence. Otumba Olusegun Urushewe, OON, Chairman, National Festival Planning Committee, Announcer. Media partners: NTA, AIT, LTV, FRCN, Eagle 7, Sports Radio, and Discon Television.
In a third final in 20 years.
Simply out of this world. Get a GoTV decoder, GoTenna, and 1 month max subscription for only 6,900 naira. Watch all the 64 games live from Qatar on GoTV Super.
Up next is Sports Update.
Defender Josephine Edafe slotted home the winning penalty as the Flamingos of Nigeria booked a historic semi-final ticket after beating their U.S. counterparts 4-3 on penalties in the ongoing 2022 FIFA Under-17 Women World Cup in India.
Defensively, the girls had to work hard. Talking about the Nigerians, the Flamingos, we say congratulations to them.
For moving forward, I believe what they need to do is to maintain their poise and remain confident with the level of play.
The Flamingos of Nigeria will now face the winners of the quarterfinal match between Colombia and Tanzania. The newly inaugurated 11-member interim management committee for the Nigerian Professional Football League believes the mandate of repositioning the Nigerian league is a daunting but achievable task despite a 3-month mandate to deliver. The NFF President Ibrahim Guzo inaugurated the committee in Abuja Friday with Benga Elegbele as chairman.
We have people that we know they are going to do their best to ensure that at least Nigerians will be proud of what they will do.
We must engage ourselves in partnership and make sure we resolve all these legal problems.
Still on football, there will be plenty of actions in the English Premier League this Saturday as Nottingham Forest hosts Liverpool in early kickoff. The match between Everton and Crystal Palace at Goodison Park will be live on NTA at 2:30 p.m. With Sports Update, I'm Austin Edemodo, NTA News.
And before we leave, a condolence message. President Muhammadu Buhari condoles David Mark, former Senate President David Mark, over the passing of his son Tunde. President Muhammadu Buhari shares in the pain and commiserates with friends, relations and associates of the former Senate President over the loss of the promising gentleman who over many years worked with his father, supporting and holding various responsibilities as a public servant. President Buhari urges Senator Mark and his family to find solace in the good works of the departed and prays the Almighty to comfort and grant the family the fortitude to bear the loss. Meanwhile, the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, sends heartfelt condolences to former President of the Senate, David Mark, over the death of his son, Tunde Mark. The President of the Senate condoles with members of his family and the good people of Benue State over the tragic loss and prays God to grant him the fortitude to grant the deceased eternal rest. Similarly, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party and former Vice President, Atiku Abubakar, expresses sadness over the loss of the son of the former President of the Senate, David Mark. And that concludes the news. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet, and phone. Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTAI. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTA International on the go, anywhere in the world. NTA International, your window to the world.
This is the network service of the NTA.
The Nigerian electoral system is seemingly simple, yet may be complicated for some.
It's for them to come and tell us what they have.
Running an election is equivalent to what? A job application.
I want them to identify the issues plaguing the common Nigerians.
PDP should focus on PDP and APC should focus on APC.
Let's show you what an election is all about as Nigerians pick the next president, governors, and legislators. We interrogate their plans, question the rationale, and review the prospects. Join us on the ballot.
The Nigerian Television Authority NTA, in collaboration with Havel Corporate Concept, presents Beyond the Debate, a series for all the 18 presidential candidates in the 2023 general elections to present their manifestos and visions to the Nigerian public as a social contract. Beyond the Debate will broadcast live on the network service of the NTA and stream on YouTube and other social media platforms beginning from 10th November 2022. The publicly signed manifestos by the candidates will be uploaded on this portal, www.summitofpoliticalparties.org. For further inquiries, please contact Dr. Adanga 08033173488. Howard 08033121022.
As the 2023 elections draw near, remember, evil prospers when good men and women only wish for peace, but never take a step to make peaceful elections happen. Are you a father? Are you a mother? What are you saying to your children as elections approach? Have you warned them not to let themselves be used to cause violence? Have you explained to them what the consequences of electoral violence might be? Do your part to make peaceful elections happen. Talk to your children. Protect them from unscrupulous politicians who want to put them in harm's way, while their own children are comfortable at home, within and outside the country. Let's join hands to make 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NOAA. To every politician, as the campaigns gain momentum and passions begin to rise, remember, the errors of your opponents do not make you a success. Do not run down your opponent and inflame passions to violence between and among your supporters. What counts is what you plan to do for the electorate and how you intend to relieve the sufferings and bring succor. Nigeria is in dire need of patriotic leaders at all levels, leaders who will make national development their priority. Concentrate on telling the electorate what you intend to do when you get into office. Focus on making your vision clear to the electorate. Don't engage in verbal abuses, fake news, or speeches. Keep dealing with issues that will bring progress. You win the hearts and minds of the people by being above board, by being civil, patriotic, and showing empathy. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. A message from the National Orientation Agency.
And then welcome everyone. I'm Nnamdi Odipo. This is the ballot. Thanks for joining us on tonight's program. In the last few nights, I have had the opportunity to speak to a few candidates in next year's presidential election on their plans for Nigeria. That has been quite revealing, and so in the coming days, we will keep at it, just so the candidates or their spokesperson explain these issues to you themselves in a manner that enhances relatability. But before we get right into it tonight, here are the major story highlights.
Friends of the APC.
Well, One National Economic Summit Group sets the stage for candidates to rally their bases and win new fans.
I'm voting based on the issue on ground based on personality.
What is swaying the voters this election season? Personality, party, or manifestos? Tonight, we review some national targets and our guests decide if they are feasible or mere distractions. Let's begin tonight by preparing your minds and letting those clamoring for an intellectual standoff between contenders for the 2023 presidential elections that they will see this particular aspiration come true sooner rather than later. And that is because groups like the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, BON, and the Nigeria Economic Summit Group are driving the process that would produce a series of public debate involving all presidential and vice presidential candidates for next year's election. Even though debates are not a constitutional requirement for contesting elections in Nigeria, many in the country, including eager young voters, have been clamoring for such practice to become an integral part of our elections and our political culture in Nigeria.
NESG has a record of all the things they've been doing on the economy of the country, but we still need something not only from Nigeria but also from the diaspora. People outside want to ask questions, and those questions will not be compiled when we go for the debate.
Meanwhile, as campaigns continue and momentum builds towards the general elections, aside the political parties, the media and the civil society are assisting in ensuring that the public stays abreast of all major issues regarding the elections. This is to enable the voter to reach clearly defined decisions on which way to go in choosing a candidate of choice or candidates, as the case may be, in next year's election. But what are the people likely to consider uppermost in making a choice of candidates? Will it be the party or the person? Let's find out from this Vox Pop conducted earlier today.
I'm voting based on the issue on ground based on personality, on capacity. Personality based on people's track record.
There are more enlightened youths in this present election who are also going to be looking at the issues.
And the wisdom to manage national resources.
Well, we'll start our own debate here tonight, and on the hot seat, maybe not hot though, but here to convince you for your votes and support is my guest, the 2023 presidential hopeful, is Prince Adewale Adebayo, presidential candidate, Social Democratic Party, SDP. Welcome to the ballot, sir.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
I'm sure you have been up and about. Last time I saw you on TV, you were at the Arewa Forum where you addressed the assembly alongside other presidential contenders. Do you think you did enough to convince that group, or indeed any other voter monitoring your campaign, to believe your repackaged message of hope as much as NK Abiola's message, hope message or campaign of 1993?
Well, the feedback we are getting from the organizers, the northern groups, and those who were present and who have reviewed our performance, that we did the best of all the candidates, and that is good enough for us.
Really? And what was the platform or mechanism that you used to monitor this response? Was it an internal mechanism, or was it an external or outside mechanism?
What matters to us is that the audience that you are addressing, once they say that, that's good enough.
Okay, I'll take that. So I also actually and actively did listen to a large part of your message to the Arewa Assembly, and earlier on as well when you addressed your supporters and party faithful at a rally in Kaduna just last week, same day as the Arewa Forum. At both occasions, you spoke extensively on ending poverty. You know, this whole talk about ending poverty is not limited to you or the SDP. Truth be told, every presidential candidate that I have spoke to that is out there wants to end poverty in Nigeria. In fact, I've been hearing this campaign on ending poverty every campaign season, going back to 1993. And so please, do not tell me the same things I have heard time and again when I ask someone, or let me just ask you this pointed question. How do you plan to end poverty in a struggling nation like ours, Nigeria, with more economic challenges ahead, if the predictions by the IMF and other groups are anything to go by?
Correct. To start with, we need to listen more keenly and understand the nuances and distinction. We are the only one talking about ending poverty. The rest are talking about alleviating poverty or something like that. They've argued with me severally on that point, and I'm saying, no, you cannot alleviate poverty and expect it to go away. What you can do is actually to structurally eliminate poverty. And the campaign that we had 30 years ago in my party was Farewell to Poverty. And we are back to say it because we were not allowed to run the government, even though we won the election. So, and 30 years down the line, poverty has worsened. And what we will do now to end the poverty is as follows. We end the poverty by making sure that all the indices that define someone as poor, we remove it. I'm not working with the IMF or any of the Bretton Woods institutions. I'm here and I can see the poverty. I know that nutritional poverty is number one. People need to have good food, and nobody can argue with me that we don't have the capacity within the country to be food self-sufficient. Even 300, 500 years ago, in our own various communities, Africans, we had eliminated hunger many, many years ago. So we can do that now. We have the land. Second is that we need to build houses. Housing is also how you know the rich man from the poor man. And if we can give basic, hygienic, well-serviced housing to the poor, which means that every year, in every state, you build 1 million houses. That is not too hard for us to do. We have the limestone, we have everything that we need to do that. The third element is that you need to get people jobs to do. And the two parts of that is that we need to invest in agriculture. So the drive to eradicate nutritional poverty by providing food will also, in the same breath, provide employment for people who are actually going to work on the farm, on agro-processing. So you are creating jobs from that. And once people are able to feed their own family, we need to understand the statistic that if you are able to give someone a gainful employment, minimum 4 people are out of poverty from that angle. The fourth element is dealing with the issue of basic infrastructure. I'm not talking about flyovers and all of that. Okay. Basic infrastructure that facilitate work. That you have basic roads, you can patch your roads. Even I, as an individual in my home city where I was born in Ondo, you can go there. with NTA, Akure to go and find out for you. I'm patching roads because I made a personal mandate to demonstrate from that city that you can actually eliminate bad roads in a period of 4 years. So that's what we can do. And then we deal with the issue of education, the education of our people. And then lastly, give people access to medical care. So some of the problems that arise from primary healthcare challenges, communicable diseases, once we eliminate all of those, so eradicating poverty doesn't mean that everyone will be a millionaire in this country.
Of course.
It means basically that you comply with Chapter 2 of the Constitution, fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy that says that we must invest in social investment.
Is that perhaps the linkage? Because I listened keenly, and I tried to see if I can establish the linkages between these sectors that you have mentioned. Is that perhaps some synergy between all of the sectors and plans that you do have, so much that we don't have a lopsided development, so that we have an integrated development and all sectors perhaps develop, maybe not at the same pace, but at some pace, and that development is integrated and not isolated. We don't develop in silos.
You see, the problem is that we have to rethink our development. We are running a government of big men who do big men budgets. So someone who comes from a community of very poor people, and he's the only one in that community who is a minister, he's now behaving as if he's in the UK or he's in Europe. So he's not realizing that in my community, my house is the biggest. My house is the only one that has electricity. My house is the only one with water. Therefore, even though I look like a big man and I'm going to Paris to have dinner, like some of my colleagues are doing now, that actually I should budget.
That is a direct swipe, by the way.
Yes, but it's a fact, because if you are going to Paris to have dinner, you will tend to
No, I think we should focus on the issue
No, because we need to let them know that that is where our disjointed planning comes from. You have to plan from the basics. If majority of your people don't have access to water, then water is number one on your agenda. If majority of your people are hungry and they come to your house to feed or go around looking for food, then your budget should address
so
that.
Developmental interventions are demand-driven.
Yeah, it must come from the base. You must come from the base because the voters sent you there. And you cannot leave their priorities and be building another estate in Abuja and be building bridges all over the place. You must go and invest where they have concerns. If you have children out of school, you must build primary schools. And you don't have to build the most sophisticated one. When Jakande was governor of Lagos, they were laughing at him, the elite, that he was building cow sheds. But many of the graduates of the cow sheds now have become governors, have become engineers, and all of that. Same thing with Aparako in Benue. Same thing with Rimi in Kano. So you need to invest in social investment, and that's why we're here.
I'm quite glad that you've referenced these persons that you've referenced, and it takes us back to a time when the regions were quite strong. You are a lawyer, and I see lawyers as engineers of the Nigerian legal system. In essence, you know the legal ramifications pertaining to issues of fiscal and state restructuring, as well as the workings of true federalism. And even though I have asked the guest this same question, in fact, over time I have asked this question, I sense that your direction on this issue may vary or differ as a lawyer. What is your stance on the current status of our federalism and its workings? And would you perhaps be willing to pursue and champion a path that could lead to a political, fiscal, and regional restructuring of Nigeria that empowers maybe the states and regions much more than the central government?
My job is to keep my oath of office when I take it May next year, which is to obey the Constitution of Nigeria, which means that all the problems we are dealing with now, that's making us to have underdevelopment, to have failed budgeting, to have lose our resources, can be fixed by a good president under this Constitution. At the same time, the Constitution was written by a human being, and it was written hurriedly in a transition program. We can always improve on it. So it's not an excuse for why 80% of our crude oil is being stolen and the government is not doing much about it. It's not the reason why bandits are blocking our highways. It's not the reason why we have potholes that we can easily fix and we are spending billions. It's not the reason why we built railway and we are not able to use it and we are not building as many as we should build. It's not the Constitution. That's not why ASU was on strike for 8 months. So let us, while we are looking for constitutional reform, let us let the Constitution work now. So I am the president that will comply with the Constitution as it is and allow the National Assembly and other fora institutions in Nigeria to start debating the Constitution. Look at Britain. From the day I was born in 1972, the British have been discussing their constitution, whether they should defer power to Scotland, whether they should go. But if you go to London, the buses run on time. So these constitutional reforms, you can go on with them. And if you amend the constitution and bring them to me as president, I will sign. But while you are debating that, I'm fixing the road, I'm feeding the poor, I'm educating the youth, I'm throwing the chiefs out of government, and I'm making sure that people don't steal our solid minerals. I raised the alarm for Nigerians that 80% of our crude oil is being stolen. After 4 or 5 months of laughing at me, now they've admitted. I'm raising a second alarm that right now they are stealing lithium in Abuja here, in Nasarawa, in many places. So we are losing trillions of dollars to foreign Asians, other people coming, collaborating with Nigerians to steal our crude, also steal our solid minerals. This is the reason why we are poor. It's not, don't need to go to IMF.
I see where you're coming from, and it does make sense. Prince Adebayo, which is your leadership style, really? I mean, I have listened to you quite keenly in the last couple of minutes. I mean, one candidate out there describes himself as the unifier. Another says he trades in trust building and so on. I mean, what would be the mantra of an Adebayo presidency, and how would that ideal permeate into civil life during your leadership if given the opportunity?
Well, others will describe me, but what I know is that I admire leaders like Aminu Kano because you can be a decent person in politics, which means you believe in truth and justice. And if you believe in truth, you will not lie. And if you lie to the public, you will resign. Okay. And if an officer working under me lies to me, he resigns or she resigns. At the same time, when you are sitting down there, you do justice. You know that public property is not yours. You know that public time is not even yours. So you know also that when you are...
So in essence, what if you were to use a term or a word or a phrase, what would you describe your leadership style to be?
I will aspire to be truthful and just.
Perfect. Very quickly, we're almost out of time. My director is in my ear telling me to round up rather quickly. But, before we move on to the next phase, because we would have you tick some of the boxes, I'm not sure where you stand on the issue of the NSAS protest of 2020. Incidentally, yesterday was the second anniversary of that particular event that happened at the Lekki toll gate. But beyond the unanswered questions that subsist, the Lekki toll gate shooting, in my book, transcends blame trading and opens up the core issue of people taking responsibility, whether they are members of the public or constituted authority. But more importantly for me is how a previously misconstrued stratum, erroneously perceived as being docile, emerged as indeed vibrant and champions of our collective destiny. Are you in acknowledgement of the central role played by the Nigerian youth and the need for them to be in charge of this nation's affairs, albeit with some level of guidance? Do you have a structured plan in place that speaks to some form of intergenerational linkages in politics to grow our country?
Well, my attitude to NSAS is as follows. When they were doing it, I was one of the supporters, and I was one of those guiding them, so you can have those who are involved in it. And I've tried after that time to incorporate many of the survivors and veterans into politics and development. It's an unfortunate thing because what should be a national acknowledgement that the young people try to improve our policing, improve our law enforcement, has now been politicized. So, and the unfortunate thing about the NSAS, that's why I didn't even do much of celebration yesterday, is that nothing has changed in 2 years. On the part of the government, on the part of the public, on the part of the...
Would you in your presidency allow young persons to take charge and to have key leadership role while
all over the world, the average policeman is a youth. Go anywhere in the world, take any picture, any video. So in my own government, the youth themselves, they want to run the law.
Very well. There
another aspect of leadership.
We will be following up on that. Let's take a few seconds and allow our guests prep for ticking the boxes. Please stay with us. It's now time to gauge Prince Adewale Adebayo's response to some issues on the ballots. Mind you, all of the targets are within the context of a president's first term in office, which is a period of 4 years. We are retaining the same, most of the same targets as last night. Let's see where our guest stands on these issues. So we'll begin. Let's see, can we put up the box, the ballot on the screen? There we have it. I'll very quickly like to begin with the first one. Adequate power. Is this a realistic target for your presidency? Is this something you can achieve in terms of generation, transmission, and distribution within a period of 4 years?
In fact, my target is before 4 years because I'm not using the system they're using now. I'm not relying on the NIPP. I'm relying on not integrated power, but disaggregated power, where I use solar, I use wind.
So that's realistic. That's
more than realistic.
Yes. So we'll go to the second point, the issue on the ballot. Would you be driven to end our dependency on oil within the first 4 years of your administration?
I'm the first and the only candidate who says I will not, after implementing President Buhari's budget, which will flow into our term, I will not budget at the federal level for spending oil money anymore.
So would you be diversifying? Is it a realistic goal?
Put the oil money in future funds. We can survive with other products.
So is that a realistic goal?
Is it more than realistic and necessary?
So we'll go with realistic. Now we'll go to the third one. Would you also be pushing for a favorable business climate within the first 4 years of your administration? Is that something you think is achievable? Is it unrealistic? Are you undecided on the matter?
It's realistic within 6 months because government is the obstacle and I'm running the government.
6 months, you say?
Yes, because most of the problem you are dealing with, mismanagement of the exchange rate, mismanagement of procurement, mismanagement of administration of visa and infrastructure, is government's job. So
very quickly, finally, universal health care. I mean, do you think that is achievable for the Adebayo presidency in 4 years?
Universal healthcare
yes.
is not only achievable, it's a constitutional requirement. We need to do it. We have the money.
Wonderful. It would appear that all of the goals on the ballot for our guests are realistic. I would like to thank you so much, Prince Adewale Adebayo, presidential candidate, Social Democratic Party, SDP, for coming on the ballot. I do wish you the very best in your current campaign.
Thank you very much, and God bless Nigeria.
Today is Friday, October 21. In actual fact, the INEC website confirms that we have 126 days on our countdown to election day. Like I do most of the time, I would ask you this again. Are you getting prepped? If not, please begin already because the PVC collections are on. Your vote does matter. I'll see you again live. Not tomorrow. We do not have the ballot on the weekend. So I'll see you again on Monday night, live on the network service of Africa's largest TV network, the NTA. My name is Nnamdi Odipo. Do have a lovely weekend and bye for now.